whether it is critical reasoning, sentence correction, reading comprehension, there has to be a consistent approach, which it is not that it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. It has to work always. Now we are doing comparison. Okay, so in comparison we will cover 5 topics. 1, comparison markers. 2, like versus as. 3, comparative degree, and then 4, comparative versus superlative degree. 5, than versus rather than. GMAT has questions from these 5 subtopics of comparison. If you look at the first one, comparison marker, here it says as, like, unlike, more than, less than, faster than, different from, same as, in contrast to, exceed. Okay, all these are comparison markers, right? But exact, they are enough. Now, what is comparison? Here he says the definition: comparisons are a type of parallelism. Comparisons compare two or more parts of a sentence. Okay, so these are the things we have seen in parallelism. In parallelism, I said you join two or more elements by using parallel markers such as and or but, both and, between and, not only but also, from, to, rather than. Okay, so all comparison markers are parallel markers and all parallel markers are comparison markers. And it said the comparison rule requires that these two parts be parallel both structurally and logically. The same thing I discussed when discussing parallelism. I said structural parallelism and logical parallelism. Now the question is, why do you have a separate topic such as comparison when it is similar to parallelism? Did it not strike your mind? Why do we have a separate topic such as comparison when it is similar to parallelism? So see, in parallelism our focus was on what? In parallelism our primary focus was on the focus is on grammar. You remember the elements compared? What are the elements we discussed? Parallel elements. If you go back to your previous class, then you would know that they are nouns, pronouns, adjectives, gerunds, okay, infinitives. Okay, I also told you about simple gerunds, complex gerunds. You remember all this? So these are grammatical terms, right? Phrases, clauses. Okay, so these are the parallel elements. So the focus is more on grammar aspect of comparison. The logical aspect was less emphasized when we discussed parallelism. But in comparisons, grammar aspect is of less important. That means grammar, you do have grammar, no doubt. Some grammar rules are there. You do have some grammar rules in comparison. Other than grammar, you have the meaning aspect of comparison. Okay, see, every time you see one of these comparison markers, different from, same as, like, in contrast to, exceed, every time you see one of these comparison markers, you say this is a comparison question. Then the moment you see the comparison question, then you say what are the grammar rules applicable to this. Now I'm going to teach you some grammar rules which are associated with comparison. Then you apply those grammar rules. But that is not all. After checking grammar, you also check the meaning aspect. Right. When discussing the parallelism, what were those parallel markers? I explained some parallel markers. What are they? See, the markers also differ. Okay, there the focus was more on the conjunctions and or, but. Okay, these are also called coordinating conjunctions. There are also other parallel such as not only but also. Right, not only but also. All these are conjunctions. So majorly, the conjunctions function as parallel markers, right? But if you look at the comparison markers, these are like look at them faster than. These are comparative degrees. These are comparative than. When I see whenever you have an er or more, then you use than. Okay, than is associated with er adjectives. Taller than. Okay, you say taller than. You say stronger than. You say richer than. That means every time I see an er adjective, I look for than. Similarly, every time I see more, the word more, then I ask myself, where is than in this sentence? Because without than, more cannot be used. Without than, er adjective cannot be used. So that is the grammar aspect. That is the grammar aspect. Right. Second grammar aspect is like versus as. Like versus. Now I am discussing the grammar aspect of comparison. Every time I grammar aspect of comparison. Yeah, see here you have on third rule you have er and more. Every time you use er or more, okay, such as wiser, stronger and all this, they must be followed by than. Here he says, right, being wiser is better than being rich. Being wiser is better as rich. No, after better I can't use as. So this is grammar aspect. Now let us look at like versus as. Every time I see like, okay, every time I see like, comparison markers. In comparison markers, whenever you see more than, less than, more means every time you see more or less or er, than has to be there. No, I won't repeat that. I won't repeat that. Yeah, that's a separate. That is part of here, right? That is part. So every time you have more, every time you have er, more or er, then than has to be present in this sentence. Right. Now second one is like versus as. Okay. Sometimes you see that some options have like, other options have as. Then what do? Now you have to keep a few rules in mind. After like, what is allowed and what is not allowed. After like plus, you can place a noun, you can place a pronoun, like you, like Ram. After like, you can also place an ing form. Yes, I said you can also place an ing form. For example, like swimming. So after like, these three are allowed. After like, what is not allowed? After like, you can't place subject plus verb, like you know, like you say, like India did. Okay, you can't place prepositional phrase. In subject verb agreement, I have explained, so prepositional phrases as modifiers, right? So these prepositional phrases are not allowed after like. So like versus as. So I said after like, subject plus verb is not allowed. After like, prepositional phrase is not allowed. Not allowed. Right. For example, here, like France. Do you see this sentence now? So I say like France. So after like, what have I placed? After like, I have placed a noun. France is a noun. So that is called the grammar rule, the grammar aspect. Like France, China. I am comparing France with China. So I am comparing France with China means I am comparing one country with another country. So that is meaningful, that is logical. Okay. Now, like we know, this is wrong because after like, subject and verb, subject plus verb, this combination is not allowed. So this is wrong. So instead of like, what do? I use as. So the as rule says that as plus subject, I mean noun plus verb, that is subject plus verb, this is allowed. Similarly, prepositional phrases, prepositional phrases are also allowed. After like, I said you can place an ing. Like swimming, skiing is a great exercise. So swimming is an ing form, and one ing form is compared to another ing form. And swimming and skiing are comparable. They make sense. Can you please look at this example? The restaurant is full of customers today, like on any other public holiday. Can you identify what role this part? I mean, what grammar structure is it? What can you identify what grammar structure it is? On any other, it is a prepositional phrase. It is a prepositional phrase. A phrase that begins with a preposition is a positional phrase. So he says it's wrong. Why does he say it is wrong? Because after like, prepositional phrase is not allowed. So instead of like, what does he say in the right sentence? He says, the restaurant is full of customers today as on any other public holiday. So you could place a prepositional phrase after as, but not after like. So are we discussing the grammar aspect or not? Grammar rules, right? So this we have already, I have already said, every time you have an er adjective, or every time you see more in a sentence, make sure that there is a than. This is, a fantastic elimination technique. This is fantastic elimination technique. See, being wiser is better than, okay, being rich. So being wiser is ing form, being rich is an ing form. I mean, one ing form is compared to another. Yes. So the compared elements are also structurally comparable, being rich and being wiser. Okay. Yes. Now comparative versus superlative. Still we are in the grammar aspect. Okay, we have not yet come to the meaning aspect of comparison. So this comparative degree, such as more, better, stronger, okay, should be used only if there is a comparison between two elements only. That you should keep in your mind. Only if two elements are being compared, then I use better, stronger. Okay. And there is another degree that is called superlative degree. For example, best, most, strongest. Okay. So the superlative degree should be used here as given. Superlative degree: most, best, strongest. Okay. When there are more than two elements. Sam is the most intelligent student in the class. Similarly, Mukesh is the richest man in India. So richest, you are using you are using superlative degree because there are several people in the country. So you understand now. Now we have than versus rather than. Please note that, that's very important. Than versus rather than. So rather than itself is a complete comparison marker. That means, whenever I have rather than, that's enough to make a comparison. Okay, the phrase rather than is enough to compare. It is enough to compare two elements. So in this you have er and then, both are there. Look at this example. It is better to outsource the housekeeping activities rather than maintain in-house staff for these tasks. Why is it wrong? Why? Rather than er itself is a complete comparison. Then why do you need a better? Okay. So either you remove better or you remove rather. Right. See which one fits the context. How the sentence could be restructured. Okay. So if you want to remove rather, then better would remain, and the sentence is, it is better, okay, to outsource the housekeeping activities than to maintain. So to outsource better, to outsource to maintain. See, better than is a comparison marker. Better than is also a parallel marker. I told you every comparison marker is a parallel marker, and every every parallel marker is a comparison marker. This is comparison as well as parallel marker. So every time I use a parallel marker or a comparison marker, I ask myself, what are the elements being compared? What are the elements here? One is to outsource, another is to one is to maintain. So to outsource is what? To outsource is an infinitive. I told you when discussing parallelism, infinitive. So one infinitive should be compared to another infinitive. This is called structural parallelism. And logical, what is logical parallelism? Logical parallelism means they must make sense. So they must be comparable. Can I compare outsource and maintain? Outsource something, some activities, or maintain in-house staff? Yes, they are comparable. They are comparable. So it satisfies the condition of logical parallelism also. Clear? Now here in the fourth sentence, in the last sentence, what he has done, he has removed better. We should outsource the housekeeping activities rather than maintain. So now rather than is the parallel marker or comparison marker. Now after rather than, what do you have? Maintain. So this is a verb. This is a verb. So one verb should be compared to another verb. So here this is the element, maintain is the element, maintain is a finite verb, complete verb or standalone verb, and the other verb is outsource. This is another element. So one verb is compared to another element, another verb. Here to outsource, to maintain, here outsource and maintain. Make sense? Now the grammar part is over and we start the meaning aspect of comparison. Okay, this aspect is more important. The meaning aspect of comparison is more important than the grammar aspect, because grammar aspect is very easy. The moment you see a comparison marker, simply what you will do, you will look for one of these five, one of these, whether there is a comparison superlative problem, or rather than, whether you have two elements being compared, whether there is a than or not. These are the things you will compare. Tools are very few. But meaning means what? Meaning means, first of all, understanding the sentence. Out of those 6 to 7 or 8 questions in sentence correction, maybe 3 to 4 questions could be answered without understanding their meaning, just with the help of these markers, subject verb marker, this marker, that marker. By applying some elimination techniques, you could do up to maybe 4 questions, but at least there will be 1 or 2 sentences which you could not, I don't think you could simply answer by using these marker techniques. You have to use the marker techniques along with the meaning techniques. That means you have to understand the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so that is where people find it difficult. Understanding the sentence, comparing. Right, now look at this example. Can you please read the first sentence? His girlfriend. Right, I told you every comparison involves 2 elements, right? For example, x is stronger than y. When you say x is stronger than y, it is very simple. This is er adjective, than has to be there, and x and y must be comparable. X is a human being, then y has to be a human being. if this is an animal, this is something like that. Sometimes what happens, x and y are compared in relation to an object. So an object comes between two subjects. For example, you play tennis, I play tennis, but I play better than you. What? Tennis. Now tennis. So you play tennis, I play tennis. So now see, I tell you how an object comes in between. So the presence of an object. I mean, when I say object, not a thing. Object means grammar structure. An object between two nouns. This makes your question more challenging. So I play tennis better than you. So I is the subject, you is another subject. There are two subjects because I play tennis, you also play tennis. So two subjects are performing the action, and the common object is tennis. This is the object. In this case, there is no problem at all. There is no problem. But look at this question. Sam loves photography more than, sorry, not that, I'm sorry. This Sam, yeah, the first one, the subject, photography is the object. Now, what about girlfriend? Do you think girlfriend is a subject or an object? What role does it play? Why can't it be an object? Exactly. So it could be interpreted in two different ways, in the sense Sam loves photography, Sam also loves his girlfriend. So it could be interpreted that way. Similarly, Sam loves photography and his girlfriend also loves photography. That is why this sentence is ambiguous. What is the meaning of ambiguous? Ambiguous means it gives two meanings. It gives two meanings. These are the two meanings. So, but these two sentences, this sentence and this sentence are unambiguous. These two are unambiguous. There is no ambiguity, there is no confusion in these two sentences. And how has it been possible? Just because, in these two sentences, you have used an extra verb. So, the use of an extra verb makes the comparison unambiguous. The use of an extra verb. So what do I say? Sam loves photography more than his girlfriend does, an extra verb. Or I say more than he loves his girlfriend. So a repetition of the verb, although it makes the sentence wordy, is useful, is necessary to make the sentence unambiguous. We can't make in GMAT or SAT, whatever exams, we can't make a sentence concise at the cost of meaning. No doubt concision is important, but concision could be considered only after considering the grammar aspect and the meaning aspect of the sentence. Now look at the second one. There is one more type of meaning error. Here he says Sam has more costly cars. Okay, so this is always ambiguous. More means any comparison or er or any comparative degree plus an adjective plus a plural noun is always ambiguous. Okay, if I say more is, as I said, more a comparative degree, costly is an adjective, cars is a plural noun. Now when I say ambiguity, it means it has two meanings. One is maybe it is more expensive, maybe it is more costly. The other is the number of cars is more. Whether more modifies adjective or the noun cars, yes, it's not clear. Make it unambiguous by using a relative clause. That is why we have relative clauses. Very often relative clauses make the sentence wordy, but at times they are essential to make the sentence unambiguous. At times without relative clauses, the sentence might be ambiguous. So that is why here we need that or more costly. Okay. And Sam has more cars. Okay. Sam has more cars. So here more is describing only cars. In the previous sentence, more is describing only costly. But in the first sentence, whether more is describing, means functioning as an adverb describing costly, or as an adjective by describing cars, it is not clear. Now third one, Rose is 3 times older than, oh God, older means comparison, older means addition plus, okay, then times means multiplication. You can't use both addition and multiplication together. In the sense, use only addition or multiplication in a sentence. You need to express either addition or multiplication. Either you add or you multiply. Rose is 3 times as old as her grandson. So every time you see times, times means multiplication. No addition is allowed. No addition means what? Comparison. If I am 10 years older than you, that means your age plus 10 is my age, okay, is equal to my age. So I am 10 years older than you, means I am adding. I am 2 times as old as you are. I am 2 times as old as you are. I am multiplying your age by 2 to arrive at my age. So either I add or multiply, but don't do both. Now coming to question number 3, as I already explained to you in my previous sessions, you should always begin with grouping the options. Okay, you have to group. If I look at C and D, they say those in department stores, those in. Okay, and here you have in department stores. So these two are prepositional phrases. So these two are prepositional phrases. And here you have only department stores. What is the difference between those in department stores and department stores? Those in departments means some people or maybe those means here in the beginning you have shoppers in sporting goods and the shoppers in department stores. That means there are two different sets of shoppers. Now, if you look at the word before the underlined part, it has unlike. Okay, you know every rule that applies to like also applies to unlike. So first I apply the grammar rule. As per the grammar rule, after like, prepositional phrase is not allowed. So A and B are eliminated. Right. Next. Those are human beings, department stores. Again, here the comparison elements. Shoppers are compared to department stores. They are see, both are noun. Shoppers is a noun. Department stores is also a noun. So structural comparison is okay, but logically they are not comparable. Finally, you are left between two options C and D. You need to re-split them. Compare these two options. Look for difference between these two. So this is how, vertically you have to never read options this way. Never read. Okay, please note this point. Never read. Never read the options. Never read the options horizontally. Like, don't read this way, horizontally, right? Always you read like this, read vertical. Okay, please have you noted the point? Read vertical. Yeah, read. It is not exactly reading, it is comparing. Compare vertically. So this vertical comparison will help you find, the differences. So if I vertically compare like this, see, like this, here I find a punctuation difference. There is a punctuation difference, right? Here I see they. There is a pronoun, plural pronoun, right? Here I have a noun, someone. Okay, there is no pronoun, so this is one difference. Okay, he says they come in for a basketball. They means, first of all, I don't understand what they refers to. Many people maybe, and they come in only for one basketball. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me. Okay, here he says someone comes in for a basketball. It makes sense. So this is one reason, right? Again, you could also use this comma, y comma. Okay, y comma, y semicolon. If you use the semicolon rule, you know the semicolon rule. Before the semicolon, there should be a complete statement, and after semicolon, there should be a complete statement. If you go by the punctuation semicolon rule, option D is the best option. Sure. Yes, I will. Now you understand this question number 4. Now let me explain one more question. Again, what I do, I may grouping. Okay, how do I group the options? With the help of similar and dissimilar elements. Okay, similar and dissimilar elements. I see A and B have as, C, D, E have than. Now something strikes my mind. I use than only if there is a comparison, such as an ER adjective. Either there is an ER adjective, or what is the other one? Either there is an ER adjective or there is more in the sentence. Now I check for these two elements. Even though more money, oh, there is a more here. So after more, then has to be there, A and B are eliminated. Clear? Now I regroup these two. Now I regroup C, D, E. These three are left. Now let us re-split them or regroup them. So how do I regroup? Again, like this. If I do like this, okay. Oh. This. Don't you think there was? I see there is no there was here. This is wordy. That and which. Why I need that and which? Okay. This is wordy. I am not eliminating this option, but I say option C is wordy. This is wordy. I will come back to this. If I find some error in D and E, then I will come back to option C. Okay. Now I resplit these two. He said then any. Here this word has any other. So when do I use any month, any other month? What is the difference? If one of the 12 months is compared to the rest of the months, then I need any other month. So there are 12 months in a year. If one of the months is mentioned in the sentence, then I would go for any other. Now go back to the sentence. More money was removed from July. Okay. So July is compared, something belonging to July is compared to something belonging to other months. So it is option E. Okay, option E is the best. First of all, it is wordy. I told you. You will consider option C only if you find any grammar error or meaning error in option E. If you read the complete option E, you will not find anything has in any other month since October 1987. So you can read from the beginning. Even though more money was removed out of stock funds in July than in any other month since October 1987, that is a subordinating clause. Okay, even though, although, all these are subordinators. Okay, even though this is a subordinator. If a sentence begins with a subordinating clause, then at the end of the subordinating clause there should be a comma. So here you have a comma. After subordinating clause there should be a complete statement. Sales is the subject, were is the verb, not as low as what industry trade group had previously estimated. So this is also a complete statement. It is most concise. What an industry trade group had previously estimated. That which wordy. This is wordy action, wordy option. It is using too many words. That's why we eliminate option C, because it is wordy.